Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the DC Show podcast. We are back, and
Yes, sir.
I got a little friend here. I stole it from
Oh,
Zach. I'm just
what are you
kidding.
talking about?
Did
We're
you
not
though?
talking. We're not. We're done with Star Wars, man. We're done with
No, we're
Star
just
Wars.
flexing on you,
Yeah, you're
Kyle.
right.
No,
Because
We're
no.
done, bro.
Look at me. Look at me. Star Wars. Here's my Star Wars.
yeah.
We're
This
done
man
with
is a
Star Wars,
shill.
though.
Welcome back, guys. It's been a while, but we are here and we are ready. We had a good winter break, so
Oh yeah.
we're just yep.
For
So
sure,
we all
for
had a good
sure.
winter break. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So a pretty small thing just dropped on Disney Plus. Not really big deal. I'm just kidding. WandaVision.
Yeah, what is it even called? I don't even remember what it's called.
Yeah. So WandaVision has been the talk of the town right now. And
Yes.
we've gotten some Marvel content. We haven't gotten some Marvel content in like what, over a year or
From
something
like
like that?
far ever since like
Yeah.
Far From Home, really. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
today we're gonna go over the first three episodes and give our thoughts on it. So
Yes.
just if you've been living under a rock, which I don't know why, WandaVision is a supposed rom-com featuring Wanda, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. Uh, except there is something sinister in the background. So that's basically the whole thing. So I'm gonna pass it on and let
Yep.
Zach break it down.
All right. Awesome. So, WandaVision is kind of viewed through this sitcom type thing. And I before we even start talking about it, I just like the aesthetic, how they're doing kind of the older aspect
Mhm.
ratio and the black and white. It's
Yeah.
it's really, and I mean, even the way they act kind of over the top, but it like works, for the show.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we begin episode one with this. They just throw us right in. They don't give us any, which I like. They just throw us in, and we kind of have this opening scene. Every episode has this opening, not music video, but just kind of
Intro.
introduction to the show. Yeah, just
Yeah.
an intro. And then after that, there's some funny moments, like we see Vision like carrying Wanda, and he teleports through the door, but like she can't teleport, so she like drops. Just funny stuff. And then the big kind of plot point for the episode is that they're in the kitchen and they see this calendar and there's a heart on it, and they both kind of can't figure out, what is this heart? Is it an anniversary? Is it a birthday? They don't know what it is, and they kind of come to the conclusion that it's an anniversary. At least that's what they think, or that's what Wanda thinks. And then Vision goes off to work, and this neighbor character appears to Wanda. She's kind of um, very happy, excited, over the top again. And they're kind of talking about just kind of how to keep their husbands happy in this. And I think this character, as we learn later in the show, is going to be very important for kind of moving forward. I think she's most likely some kind of agent, or something is, kind of with her. But yeah, so then after that, we go to Vision at the office at his work. And one of the great things about it is, a detail that's interesting is, he's kind of like, what do we even do here? What are we producing here? Which kind of, that's how Eric was saying earlier. There's kind of like sinister weirdness going on in the background, like little things like that, where he's kind of like, what do we even do here? Why are we all here? Like, and then there's moments where they kind of remember stuff, which is interesting. And then Vision's boss comes in, Mr. Hart, and they realize, oh my gosh, that's the dinner. That's a big thing. So then he calls Wanda, and Vision's basically saying like, it's make or break, because his boss said if he doesn't make a good impression, he's going to be fired. But obviously Wanda thinks it's about their relationship. So there's great comedy in the show. And then after this, we get our first commercial, which every episode has a commercial. And this episode had a Stark Industries toaster. Very interesting detail. The show is all in black and white, uh, but the light on the toaster was in red, so it actually was in color. I think that's an important detail, because a lot of people were saying they think this could be, because when they were in Sokovia, a bomb like kind of blew up in their house. I'm pretty sure, and that's what killed her parents, before Wanda and Quicksilver were taken away and made into mutants. I don't know if we could say that, because Disney doesn't own the rights to mutants, but
Mhm.
actually no, they do now, so we can, we
I do
can.
now.
But yeah, so after that, we come back and they're getting ready for dinner. There's a lot of antics. Wanda is kind of having a hard time trying to get things together, because it's very last minute. She thought it was her and Vision, not the boss and the wife coming as well. Vision sings a couple songs, which is pretty funny, pretty funny. And then kind of the big moment of the episode is they're all at dinner, and Vision's boss, Mr. Hart, starts choking, and the wife is kind of like, she just keeps repeating like, stop it, stop it, and she's almost laughing, and it's very weird behavior. And Wanda and Vision, they don't like really move, they're just kind of standing there, and but Wanda has a look on her face like she's, I don't know in that moment if she's necessarily like controlling it, but there's something going on, and then she's kind of like, Vision, help him, and then it kind of snaps back. So we get a lot of these moments later in the episodes as well. And to me, it kind of seems like, which I guess we'll talk about later, that Wanda has a lot more control over this world, sitcom world, than maybe we think. But yeah, so after that, everything goes good. Vision's allowed to keep his job. The husband was impressed. Again, everything kind of just reset. He didn't even remember that he choked or anything. Everything just reset. And then they leave, and then Wanda and Vision have a nice little scene where they're kind of talking about, why don't we know where we're from? Why don't we have kids? Why don't we have wedding rings? All of this, and they make wedding rings, and the episode ends of the sitcom. But then we kind of move out, and we see that there's someone else watching the sitcom go down, clearly showing us that again there's something sinister, really not right, that is going on here. But yeah, so I know Kyler, you had a lot of points that you
Yeah,
wanted
no.
to
And
throw
really,
in. So
you really said the point, so I think it might be just best when you finish talking about the other two, and then I'll just talk about going
okay,
further into detail because you basically, said it all really. Because I would just be repeating what you were saying, so it might be best if you
awesome.
just finish your two reviews about the other two episodes, and then I'll go more into detail about the points you were just saying. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
But
All right, so
I
yeah,
will just
so
say real quick about the first episode, just my review on it because I'll just give it out
yeah,
real quick. I do like how it definitely starts out. It's like a classy. You just go straight right in, knowing nothing at all, and that's what I like because that's what got me from the trailer. You just don't know nothing at all about it. So I do like how
yeah,
it starts, and at the ending, like you said, zooms out. I love that it creates this mystery about what's going on. But yeah, as an episode, as it's supposed to be like a mystery, but as well as like what you were trying to say, like a recreation of a 50s style episode. And I feel
yeah,
like it definitely nailed it with adding some little secrets behind it, and I think it did like a good job at that. So like the episode for sure.
awesome. Eric, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a good introduction. Uh, you know, I wasn't expecting anything insane to
Yeah.
happen.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it was good. It met my expectations, and
Yep.
I thought I wasn't gonna laugh at all, but there was some pretty good jokes throughout
Yeah.
what we've seen so far.
yeah,
So
it is a very funny show.
I know.
yeah, yeah, I'm happy about that.
Awesome. All right, well, let's take ourselves right into episode 2 then. So we begin episode 2 with previously. We got to
No,
stop
it
with these
wasn't. It
previously.
wasn't episode 2. It was actually episode 3.
Oh, it was episode
Yeah,
3. Yeah, yeah.
episode 2 also just jumped straight in.
Oh yeah, it does. It just
Yeah, no.
starts. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And we
Which I
have
did like about
another.
that. Which I did like about that.
I agree. I agree. I agree. We have another kind of animated intro thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
I liked a
And
lot.
it was actually more of a 60 style one, different from
Yeah,
the last one. So it's like each episode's gonna have its own intro based on its
Decade.
theme. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. I like that a lot.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so we go into the episode, and Wanda and Vision are preparing for the talent show of sorts. So they're doing, I think, what is it? Illusion and Glamour.
Yeah.
Glamour and Illusion are their names. And they do, the old magician trick where you get into a thing and there's a door that switches and makes you look like you disappear.
Mhm.
It's been done 1,000 times, but it's very cool. And then yeah, so after this, Vision talks about how he's gonna go meet with I forget what they did, just like the group of guys in
Yeah, just
the town.
maybe like a
Yeah,
town medium sub sort.
Oh, it was
yeah,
like the Watchmen. They were like
Yeah, like
yeah.
the
The
neighbor
town
Watchmen.
watch.
neighborhood
Yeah,
watch, neighborhood watch.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So Vision says he's gonna go off there, and then Wanda hears like something weird outside, and she kind of goes outside. And again, we're all still in black and white at this point, but in the bushes there's a red helicopter, and it's actually red and yellow, and it's in color. You can see it. It's like a little mini helicopter, and she's kind of, things get weird for a second, and she looks around, and then the tension actually cut by the neighbor again. I believe her name was Agnes in the show, and she comes in and she has a funny line. She's like, "Oh, look at you, the star of the show," which is kind of meta because like, yeah, she is the star of the show. But yeah, so then they kind of talk about things, and Wanda's plot in this episode, at least partially, is kind of that she's meeting like kind of how Vision went off with a group of guys. Wanda goes with a group of girls, and there's this one lady who's running it, and Wanda kind of feels because she's the new person in the group, so she kind of feels a little intimidated and doesn't really know how to like how she fits into the group. So that's kind of Wanda's dynamic throughout the show. But yeah, so then after this we go to Vision, and Vision's having this meeting with all the guys, and they're kind of just talking about things. Vision's kind of the same. He's just trying to really fit in to, kind of like fit in with everyone. And then they start telling jokes. Vision feels comfortable, and they offer Vision a stick of gum. Which, and again, in episode 1, it's repeated in episode 1 and 2 that Vision doesn't eat food. He always says, "I don't eat food. I don't eat food." So they offer him the gum, and he's kind of like, "All right, I'll take it." And someone like pats him on the back as he's eating it, and it kind of messes up all of his inner workings. Which some people could say that's kind of corny, but I mean, they're recreating shows from the 50s and 60s. Stuff like that happened all the time in those shows, so I think it worked for what they were doing. But yeah, so then after this, we go back to Wanda, and she's with the group, and they kind of talk a little bit, and she meets Monica, the character Monica Rambeau, who is the daughter of Captain Marvel's best friend in Captain Marvel, because that movie was in the 90s, and she was a little girl, and now she's grown up. But in the show, she goes by a different name. I don't remember what her character's name is in the show, but yeah, they meet a little bit, and they're talking, and then the meeting kind of is over, and Wanda is talking to like the leader who like leads the group, and they're listening to a song on the radio, and the radio kind of starts bugging out and malfunctioning, and the song kind of turns off, and people keep saying like, "Wanda, Wanda, can you hear us? Wanda, Wanda." And then the lady that she's talking to, like the glass breaks in her hands, and her hand gets all bloody. And then it kind of goes back to reality, and then Wanda tries to help.
Yeah, but about the hand, I don't know if you're just about to say this, but the hand itself, actually, the blood is actually red color, so definitely
which is very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Because even in
That's
black and white
where
films, like it's still, it would still be black. If there was blood, it would be black. It would not be, color red. So definitely interesting.
Exactly. That was interesting because I wonder like what this means, because the helicopter was red, that was red. Like I wonder why certain. I mean, obviously we're gonna find out, but it's just interesting that maybe that lady maybe works for like the people on the outside of this. That's because the helicopter is also from the outside as well. So maybe that could be why. But yeah, so then Wanda kind of helps her out, and then she leaves. And then it's time for the big finale for the talent show. So they meet, and Wanda's kind of like, "Where's Vision? Where's Vision?" She's, no one knows where Vision is. And her and Monica are there. And then Vision comes like just in time. And Vision's basically drunk because the gum has messed up his like robotic systems, which was, I think
I thought that was hilarious, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are just so great in the show. They really do.
They really are.
They are.
They carry like the show.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so then there's some jokes. Vision's like talking about how he played horseshoes with his friends, and then he sees someone with a horse mask on, and it's just all funny banter. And then they go out there, and as they're performing their show, Vision's like, "You know what? I don't care. I'm just going to actually show them that I have powers," basically. So he starts flying, and like everything he does, Wanda has to like show that she make it fake.
Yeah,
so he was flying, and then he's hanging on a thing. He lifts a piano up. No, it's just a paper piano, not a, which I thought was really like a really cool part of the episode. Very funny. The show has a great sense of comedy to it. And then after this, they're kind of like
thing also that you actually pointed out that I actually missed was
oh yeah,
you got it. I'll let you do it.
Yeah. So throughout the episode, well, in episode 1, I remember they asked Wanda twice. The neighbor and the boss asked them, why don't they have kids? So they set it up. Then in episode 2, they keep saying that this talent shows for the children, for the children. They say it multiple times. They keep saying, and I think there's even a banner that says for the children.
Mhm.
It keeps coming up, keeps coming up. Thank you. That's very important, and
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a
Later
little
on.
bit. So,
Later on.
after the talent show, Wanda is like, Vision, what's going on? And she's able to get the gum out, and Vision comes back. He's all good. And then they're gonna like leave the talent show, but the lady stops them and she's like, you know what, guys, that was hilarious, and they win like the prize. So they won the whole talent show. They did a great job, and it's good for their characters as well because it develops them in a way that they're starting to fit into the community, as well. So then after this, they kind of settle back into their home, and then WandaVision are just sitting there talking, and then Wanda is pregnant. She has, her belly's big. She's pregnant, and then her and Vision are talking, and they're like, is this happening? Is this real? Um, and then which happens earlier in the episode as well. Like a tree or something bangs against like the house, and a really loud noise, which we forgot to mention at the beginning of the episode. That happens again. So that at this point they're like, what is that? So they go outside, and this is when the show it can switch tones really well because it was very playful, and then it gets super serious, and they're walking out there, and you see this guy like coming up from the sewer, and he has the sword logo on his back, which is kind of a big organization in Marvel that fights, big threats, intergalactic threats.
Hello.
There you go.
Okay, my bad. My
There
mic
you
was
go.
muted. But what I was about to say was, since we're on the subject of sword, so at the ending of the first episode, there was a sword logo when they were zooming out of it.
Yes.
I do want to just point that out because we actually missed that. And then, like you were saying, we see the sword logo on that dude's back.
Yeah, and
It was-
he comes up and he's surrounded by all these like bees.
Mhm.
It's really creepy.
Yeah.
And then Wanda just kind of says like no, and then it like reverses. And again, it's great because like I like that they're not telling you, but it seems like Wanda, at least in some cases, in control because
Yeah.
she was the one who rewinded that, and then they rewind it, and then they're kind of just they have a happy, they kiss, and then the episode kind of ends
Mhm.
there. So yeah, that was the ending of episode 2. So yeah, again, before we move to episode 3, just Kyler and Eric. We'll start with Kyler. Just your quick thoughts on the episode.
Again, I do like it. Like I said, not really having high expectations for it. Not really like expecting huge story lores. I was expecting, okay, we're gonna get like mini story lores from the commercial. From oh, did we even talk about the commercial? Oh shit!
Yes, we did not. That's great.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you wait
Yeah.
so long to review the first 2
Exactly.
episodes. But
Exactly. You just missed
but
those little details.
exactly. So the commercial for this was and interestingly, it's the same characters in both commercials, and there's a theory that they could possibly be Wanda's parents, which
Mhm.
I think is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the commercial, they're advertising this watch,
Mhm.
and it's called the Strucker, which Baron von Strucker is who gave Wanda and Quicksilver their powers, and he was in Avengers: Age of Ultron, the
Yep.
best MCU film. Just kidding. But yeah, so yeah, that commercial was great. Thank you for reminding me,
Yeah,
Kyler,
no.
about that. Yeah.
But what I was about to say was that you do like I was expecting like little story details from like the commercial about the watch, and then the ending where it's like Wanda rewinds this whole thing. Those are kind of things I were expecting. I probably won't be expecting like huge like lore detail episodes until after they're done with the themes for each episode. So I'm pretty sure when we're in the 2000 theme, that's when we're gonna get like more story detail. But I'm not really expecting anything big for the 80s, which is gonna be like next week episode. Nothing for the 90s, just maybe somewhere in the 2000s. So maybe like the last 3 episodes or so is what I'm expecting
Yeah.
it. But like I said, because I didn't have high expectations, it was just another like show that was trying to like recreate um other 60 shows. It did really well. Definitely did really well.
Awesome.
Out of those classic moments. Again, do like it.
Awesome. Eric, what do you think?
I like this episode too. This is that was
Second.
kind of the hook in the reel
Yeah.
for the show because that they released both of them, so they knew with that second episode. Oh yeah, that's gonna reel all
Yeah, that's gonna read
the
the hook.
audience
Oh,
in. So yeah, I thought it's cool. One thing I believe, yeah, that Wanda has like control over, at least some control over the whole
Yeah.
matrix simulation thing that's going on. I feel like it's her way to grieve, grieve
Yeah.
for Vision's death and all that.
Yeah.
So we're probably in the later episodes, we're gonna probably see her stages of grief.
Yeah.
This is probably her stage of grief. She's in like denial or something.
Yeah.
She's like, no,
Exactly.
he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. And then like reality taps in, right? And then
Yeah.
she doesn't want reality to come in, because then that takes Vision away from her. So
Yeah.
I think she's trying in any way she can to keep this false reality intact, and not have any intruders from the outside. So I think it was a good episode. I liked it. I also something about you said about the camera, not the camera, the tone changes, right?
Yeah.
Of the thing, right? And I was gonna mention the camera, like the angles change. They become a lot more dramatic whenever something wrong happens. The music sometimes changes to or like eerie music, or just completely stops altogether, and then you're just left like with these really dramatic shots. So I really like how it just changes like day and night. It just flips straight to it, so it can catch you at any moment of the episode. So I really like that. So it was a good episode.
Definitely. All right, awesome. Well, that wraps up episode 2. Now let's move on to episode 3. Oh, and before we get to episode 3, big thing at the end of the episode, we're now in color, guys. No more black and white. We finally moved to color, which is actually the title of episode 3. It's called Now in Color. So moving into episode 3.
Oh, and I want to make sure I'm sorry for interrupting. I don't want to make sure I wasn't the only one. Like, when you first saw episode 3, was that when the titles were released? Because I remember when the first 2 episodes came out, it just said episode 1, episode 2, right?
Yeah. They released them like maybe Wednesday or Thursday, so it was like basically right before this episode came out.
But when episode 3 came out, the title was just immediately there, right? It didn't say episode 3.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Because I didn't know if they just immediately changed it after or something. Yeah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah. But yeah, so we go into episode 3, and we have our previously, which is like, we don't need it. We've watched this.
And the thing is, like, that really ruined it for me, because especially with the goal trying to be different themes, right? We don't really need like here's what happened previously, it's like, I'm pretty sure people know, what happened,
If people are watching the show, they're watching the show.
Yeah,
they're watching every episode.
Exactly. And and I hate how they're being like, oh, remember this lore detail, remember this. It's like, why don't you, let us speculate that and really connect it,
Exactly.
After a while, that's what Kevin Feige said. It's like, that's why we want to release each episode, for them to speculate on that. It's like, we don't need a recap. We know what happened,
Exactly.
And
I agree.
I feel like that really ruined it for me as to what, WandaVision is supposed to be,
Yeah.
For me, hopefully they'll be like, all right, we're not gonna do this anymore. Hopefully they do that, but again, do hate.
I think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what, we don't need this. It was.
I mean, I could call Kevin Feige and tell him to
Yeah,
take it
just
off.
call Kevin and be like, yo, we don't need this. They don't need this. Just keep with the intro theme, like
exactly, because and speaking of the intros, I love these intros, so that's what we do.
That's why
we start this episode with like the it's not animated, it's actually in like live action, and it looks very much like the 70s. It's
Absolutely.
The outfits people are wearing, the colors. It's very, very, very cool. This is kind of a because it moves through. Like the first episode is 50s, the second was 60s. This is definitely a 70s type
and then like
feel
so
to
on,
it.
so on. It's gonna be like 80s, 90s, so on.
Yes, exactly. So we go into this episode, and Wanda is again, she's pregnant. But the pregnancy is moving very fast. It's basically, I mean, I don't know how, because it doesn't move 10 years between episodes, so I don't know how much the time is, but they're saying like, I mean, Wanda is basically in like a day, she's like progressed all the way through like the whole thing. So they have a doctor there, and he's basically saying everything's going to be fine, because he's thinking this is just a regular pregnancy, and then he's like, he's going to go off onto his vacation. So he kind of leaves, and then WandaVision starts setting up around the house. They set up the crib, and then they bring in this cool thing of like the butterflies, and the butterflies start flying kind of like around the house. So this is, and that's not Wanda, that is the babies. Or at least that's my theory. I think that's what was happening there. Because then after that, there's more things like when Wanda's water breaks, it starts raining in the house, and then like the paintings start flipping all around crazy, and the lights go out. I think they say, yeah, the lights went on the whole block because Vision tries to use the phone, and the phone doesn't work.
Yep.
But yeah, so then it kind of gets to the point where Wanda is gonna have the baby, so Vision's like, I gotta go get the doctor. So that's kind of Vision's role. He literally runs and tries to go get the
Yeah.
doctor, because the phone doesn't work. And then this is when Monica from episode 2, she comes back into the show, and she comes over for a bucket because she had a leak, similar to what happened to Wanda and Vision's house. And Wanda's trying to hide the fact that she's pregnant, so she's kind of keeps like fruit bowls
Yeah.
in front of her, and she tries to put jackets on, and
Yeah.
the jackets change, which is very funny. And then eventually she gets the bucket, and they sit down and they have this conversation about how Monica got fired from work. And I don't fully remember that conversation, but I feel like after that and rewatching the show, there might be something to that conversation. Like there might be a little hints of like stuff that's gonna come,
True. Like we would have to
because
rewatch and listen carefully because I think
exactly.
during that conversation, what was it, a dove or like some sort of bird,
A
like
stork.
Yes,
a swan,
stork,
stork,
Stork.
stork.
stork. My bad, stork.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually forgot. Yeah, so a stork comes and Wanda's trying to hide that. It's very comedic. It's very
But it
funny.
doesn't work. That's
Yes,
the
it doesn't
No.
that's the thing.
because it was the babies doing it, so Wanda couldn't get rid of it. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, I
because she
got
tried
you.
to put
That
like
makes
the red,
sense.
the red powder, and it wouldn't leave. But then eventually, because Monica starts going into the room where the baby's crib is, so it kind of goes up against the wall like in the painting of the stork,
Yeah, so it
and
looks
then
right.
Wanda, yeah, and then Monica realizes, oh, you're pregnant, and then Wanda's like, I'm about to have the baby right now.
Mhm. Oh, and
So,
before we get to that, real quick, I want to say something if this is actually true. So I'm pretty sure
mhm,
we all like during that conversation we're all paying attention to the stork, right? Imagine
yeah,
if like like you were saying, imagine if she was saying like some important things in that conversation that we just missed. That would actually be
that's what I'm
funny.
saying because
He
Yeah.
says
I
something
think they're
about getting a
misguiding it.
promotion
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean,
I
it
don't
was
remember.
about that, but she dropped a couple names in that kind. So I don't know. Because a
Probably,
lot
yeah.
of the
That
stuff in
that
this
would definitely
show,
be funny if like they try like hide the fact because they know people would be
misdirect. Yeah,
paying. Yeah, that would be funny if they actually did do that. I'll have to rewatch that, but that would definitely be something clever to do for
yeah.
sure.
Because even like it seems like everything in this show isn't by accident. Like how they keep saying
True.
for the children, we're not
Yeah.
thinking anything of it, and then oh my gosh, it's because Wanda's
Yeah.
pregnant. So
It's
they
like
always throw
obviously
little
they're
things
saying
in there.
these stuff around because it's obviously gonna happen either later on the show. So there's definitely there's definitely
Yeah.
a purpose for what's happening. That's what.
Yep. Definitely. But yeah. So then after this, Monica kind of helps Wanda, and then she has the first baby, and then Vision runs back with the doctor like just after. And there's a little moment where Vision's kind of like, "Oh, I missed it." Little does he know there's another baby about to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then the doctor gets there and he kind of is helping Wanda, and then Wanda's like, "Oh no, not yet," and she has another baby.
Yeah.
So they have a set of twins. And there's a great moment where Wanda's kind of like, "Well, don't you want to see him let him see you for the first time?" Talking about the baby. And Vision's like, "I am," and she's like, "No, like really see you." And then he transforms into the actual. That was just a really cool moment. I liked it a lot. Um, yeah, and then after this, um, there's another moment where it kind of, and I thought my TV messed up where like it kind of does that thing
Mhm.
and it glitches a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it was like before he got the doctor, cause something you missed, which
yeah,
I'll say now, is that when Vision left to get the not running, but just to, I think, walk to the doctor, he sees his neighbor, right? And they're like, he's like, cutting them on
yes,
lettering,
yes, yes,
and all
yes,
of a sudden
yes,
he's like cutting the brick down with his, machine, and when Vision's
yeah.
like, what's he trying to do? And he's like acting numb, like, yeah, and while cutting down
Oh
the brick.
yeah, and then Vision goes inside and he's like, Wanda, there's weird
Yep,
stuff going.
and
And
that's
then you're
when,
right
yep.
because and then he's talking to Agnes again, the other neighbor that is
Mhm.
friends with Wanda, and she's kind of like, stop it, like because he says, we're here, we are, and he keeps saying like we are what they are, and then the neighbor's like, stop, 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 and then she kind of rides off, and Vision's like, Wanda, there's weird stuff happening around here, and then it does that thing again where it reverses back, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, and then you're right, then Vision goes off to get the doctor.
Yep.
Yeah, so then after this, um, Wanda and Monica have this moment because I believe Vision is in the kitchen with the doctor. They're
Yep.
kind of in like another room, and Vision and Wanda and Monica are talking,
I'm pretty sure
and
Vision and the Doctor were at his house or something. Like they were outside. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure. Yep.
Yeah. I believe you're right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah. So Wanda and Monica are
Oh, and before you
talking.
get to Wanda and Monica, like after Vision drops off the Doctor at his house, the Doctor did say something about saying, well, no, Vision asked saying, "Oh, what about your trip?" He says, "Oh, I can't leave. There's no escape or something." You know, he's saying something about how he can't
Yes.
escape or something.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
And
That
now
was the
because yeah.
interesting. Again, that's another thing. Like they don't just throw stuff in there. That's very important.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what
gonna
I'm
be
saying?
very
That's
important like later on in the show, you know. And of course, like
yeah.
I get why people are like fans are mad at it now, and being like, really, why are you not really going more details? But I promise you guys,
It's
when
building. It's
yeah, it's
building.
gonna build up where we're all gonna be like, yeah, that's satisfying. That makes sense, you know.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what
Um.
episodes should be, you know, where it like builds up to the final and be like, ah, that makes sense, everything. Don't worry,
Yeah. Exactly.
they're not gonna be like Star Wars where you know they're building this up and then killing people off. Don't worry, guys. They're
Yeah,
not
bro.
Star
Don't
Wars.
even. I'm about to get upset, man. But yeah. So Monica and Wanda are having this talk, and Wanda starts singing a song in Sokovian. That's where she's
Mhm.
from, and then she says, I had a twin, or I was a twin. Um. And then Monica's like, "Oh yeah, it was." Or I think Scarlet
Wanda
Witch
said
says the name
Wanda says the name.
Pietro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pietro.
and then Monica is like, which if she's an agent, I mean, what a way to blow your cover. She's like, "Oh yeah, wasn't he killed by Ultron?" And then Wanda says, "What did
Oh
you say?"
my.
And then yo, but this, like
Yeah.
Eric says, yo, completely changes the tone
Yeah,
again. The
exactly.
music cuts out and Wanda gets serious. She's like, "What did you say?" And she keeps asking her. Monica's like blowing it off, like, "Oh no, 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 I didn't say that. I was just." And then Wanda, uh, she, I, it's we don't really see it, but
Mhm.
Vision kind of comes back and Monica's gone, and then
Oh, and
Vision,
before that again, I
yeah,
do want to say something. I think you already mentioned this, but didn't go further. But I'll explain. Is that before Vision gets back to the house, he also sees his neighbors. It was the guy and the girl. I
hmm
don't know their names, so I'm sorry. But they were
yeah. I
just
think it
fighting.
was Herb and Agnes, but
Herb and Agnes. Well, yeah,
yeah,
whoever their names are, they were just like
yeah.
secretly talking, and then that's when Vision's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And like Herb like wants to like kind of explain, but the girl's like, "No, no,
Agnes is
no." Yeah,
shutting it down. Yeah,
Agnes like, "No, no, no, don't say anything," you know, and like try to act
yeah.
normal, like try to act like a certain character or something, you know.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and they mentioned something. They say that Monica doesn't have a house, which
Yes,
to
yes,
me is them
yes.
saying, yeah, she's coming in from the outside. Like
Mm.
she,
Yep.
they're not, she's not playing a part in this. They're sending her in every once in a while to check in and see
Yeah.
kind of what's going on.
Hmm.
But yeah, so then after this, like Monica gets blasted out of there and she lands on the outside, and it changes to the kind of
Yeah, it
film
changes the screen.
aspect ratio, which is cool. Um, and then we see her and we see the helicopters surrounding her. There's a bunch of cars that pull up.
Hmm.
Um, and on the west, the town they live in is called Westview. And there's a funny, I thought it was funny. On the sign, it says, if you can dream it, you can make it. Which, I
Mm.
mean, they're literally, I mean, this is all Scarlet
Yeah,
Witch's
true.
dream and she made it. So, but yeah, so then they, I don't think they necessarily capture Monica. I think they're trying to rescue her because I think she's working for these,
Mhm. Yeah.
whoever's in these trucks and
And then I'll
helicopters.
go into
Yeah,
some things about Monica later on, but there is definitely something that hands down confirms, like a photo that confirms, you know, something. But I'll get that
yeah.
to later on though. But if you want to end it
Awesome.
off.
But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up episode 3. So yeah, we'll go to your thoughts on the episode, Kylie.
Yeah. So again, do like it again, nails it down, and then now we're just getting I feel like this episode had like a little bit more lore in it than the
Yeah,
previous two episodes. But again, do like it. The only thing I hate about this episode was the recap. I just feel like it was just unnecessary and kind of ruins the vibe of it's supposed to be different themes. That's just
yeah,
me personally. So hopefully, you know, they'll just remove it because I really think it's just unnecessary,
yeah,
especially since there's no need to recap it because it's like you know you should keep like the mysteries for people to figure out and not really like recap them, being like remember this, remember that. It's like you know let
yeah,
people figure this out really, which because then
for
it just
sure,
ruins
for
the
sure.
fun in it. You know, it's like what's the point of
Yeah,
recap? Like might as well just wait for last episode, play it, and just see the whole recap about you know
yeah,
because then it just makes it
exactly.
pointless. But again, do like the episode. Feel like it nails it down. Love the intro again. Excited for next episode. and then I'll bring on to Eric, and then we could just talk about more in detail about what's going on.
Awesome. All right, Eric, what do you think?
Yeah. Uh, again, it was a good episode. I liked how so in the first episode they had like what like maybe like one like tone break, where the lady was like, stop it, right? Just
Oh,
to
I'm so sorry for interrupting. We forgot to talk about this. Do you want to talk about the commercial that played?
Oh yeah, so the
uh,
commercial was kind of, I don't know, this commercial was kind of the least
Yeah.
Easter egg you want. It was just, but I think it's showing because it's kind of talking about this soap, right? But it's saying like, get your mind away, go on a vacation, go on a destination trip, which to me is them saying this is what Wanda's doing. She's going away into her own
what
place.
was it called?
But yeah,
Hydra
so
soap.
Hydro soap, yep. Or hydro
Hydro
sock.
Hydra
soap,
soap.
exactly.
Hydro soap, hydro
Yeah.
sock, something like that.
All right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so Eric,
Yeah, so
back to
sorry
you.
for interrupting. I was
No,
like,
no, you're
we
good.
have
You're
we
good.
have to talk about that real quick.
You're good. Speaking of that,
Yep.
the commercials I thought were all pretty good with their cool Easter eggs. But
Yeah.
back to what I'm saying is yeah, the first episode kind of had like one big like tone break where the lady was like, stop it, with the guy choking, and then
Yeah,
the second one there was more of those tone breaks where the helicopter and the whole ending part with the
yeah,
with the with the beekeeper and all that stuff. And then
yeah.
I'm finding that with each episode, they are putting more and more of these. So this false reality is like
Starting to
they're
crumble.
poking holes through that false reality more and more,
Mhm.
more and
Yeah,
more holes. So there, and then in this latest episode, there was like what, like five of them in there,
yeah. There
like
was a
four or
lot.
five of them. There was a lot in here. So
Yep.
I feel like we're gonna be seeing a whole thing until the last couple episodes. Just gonna crack it wide open and then see it from there. But yeah, good episode so far. I was really surprised when they mentioned Ultron and stuff. I haven't heard that in
Yeah,
a long time.
I
exactly.
I was
know.
like,
I
I
got
thought they
wow.
were
those
trying to make
chills.
us forget about
Yeah.
that.
It's like, hey, remember
Yeah,
Ultron?
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
feel like Wanda was all of us being like, what did you say? Like, what was Ultron?
yeah. She forgot.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
but
funny.
one thing I noticed, or I think, I don't know if this is true or not, but
Mhm.
you know how she was like, she got kind of, well, she got mad at what's her name,
Monica.
uh
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Monica, right?
I
She
totally
got
agree.
she got mad at her.
True.
So I'm thinking, maybe what if this whole thing, right? This whole fake reality is like those people on the outside that, like, I don't know if it's the government or the sword, whatever, right?
Yeah, sword.
If they're trying to keep her happy, because if she's not
Ooh,
happy,
no. I
there could be
I
some
don't,
consequences.
you know,
I don't know.
I
I
do
have a
not think
different
that. So
theory,
no, I have
but
a theory. I
that's
have a theory. I'll go on to it.
But
yeah,
But
let's
so
see.
far, are we done with episode 3 though? Before I go to my theory about
yeah,
what this whole
Yeah,
episode.
I'm good.
Okay.
yeah.
So
That's good.
here's what I think is going on. Really, is that Sword, for the most part, is trying to get her out of it, not really trying to keep her in, because it seemed like more of they're trying to get her out rather than in. I feel like the
Yeah,
main reason why, because something that happened in episode 3 with the line that they were saying the vision was that she's new here, like she's not from here. And I feel like what they mean by that is she's outside, she's from Sword, right? I feel like the people
yeah,
that we see here are like regular people that unfortunately got trapped in this fake reality, right? And are trying to escape because also again from episode 3, the doctor says I can't escape. There's no way out. Because it's sounding like they
yeah,
also want to escape, but sort of trying to get in to like let people out. But obviously,
yeah,
and that's why I think like they're trying to like get Wanda out of it, like make her stop this. Because I think what Wanda is trying to do from all of this is to have a normal life with Vision, like just have a life with Vision since Vision's gone, and like I think it was Eric, you said that she was grieving or something. I think
Yeah,
that was you,
yeah,
and I completely agree. Like she's grieving over his death, and something that Zach said was that the sign said West Side, make your dreams come true. So maybe, while she was like walking around, she saw this, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna create this false reality where Vision is still alive, and I can just be with him. But at the same
yeah,
time, she's also trapping innocent people, I should say, into this false reality that she made. And that's why I said like
yeah,
because I don't think she's, like, obviously I don't want her to sound like the villain, but I feel like she's, in a grieving mood
She's
where
she's
she's,
the villain of the show.
yeah, she is like the villain, but obviously her intentions aren't bad, but it's like,
Yeah.
she's just grieving over like Vision, like, and something interesting as well is like Vision doesn't know anything as well, so it's like he's probably like a, how do I say, because Vision's interesting, because it's like, he doesn't know what's going on. It's like he's like there, but not like, I don't
He's the
know.
one who's starting to be like, what's going on
Yeah,
here? You know,
exactly.
he's
Because obviously I feel like Wanda's, in control of all this, so you think that she would be in control of Vision, but Vision has, that human personality, like, he could think being like, hey, what's going on? That's why he's asking Wanda, like, why do we, why do we not know what we're doing here? Why do we not have kids and all that, And I feel like
yeah.
that's what Wanda's trying to do, make Vision not question everything by like, oh my gosh, Vision, I'm pregnant, not really making him
Yep.
question reality. And
She's always trying to like throw something to distract him,
yeah,
basically.
exactly. That's why she got pregnant and why she got pregnant fast, because she wanted that reality where they have kids, to make
Yep. Yep.
Vision want to stay. I should say, make Vision want to stay and be with her forever. That's what I think her goal is. And obviously,
Yeah.
Sword's goal is to stop her from doing this. Try and be like, Vision's gone. Let these people go. Live their normal lives. Just accept it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's gonna be the story here, is that Wanda's grieving over Vision, and she's just not letting go, try and find a way to bring him back or something. And so it's like saying,
Yeah.
okay, but you're trapping these innocent people, we need to get them out, because like I think Eric was saying, like, she was mad that this Swords person was saying stuff about Ultron, being like, you're not supposed to say this, and that's why she got
Yeah.
kicked out and stuff.
I
And I
think
was
I think Wanda just did a glitch on Eric's camera. That was
Yeah, my
funny.
whole
yeah, she
camera
did
fell.
something. She did something. She hates Ultron, man.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I said Ultron, she's like, "No, Eric."
I know.
Yeah, no. But
But
I'm sorry.
yeah, I just want to say before you go on, my theory for this is kind of actually in between both of yours.
Hmm.
I think because at the end of the show, there's only one possible outcome. Wanda is going to tear open the multiverse. She's going to
Yep.
get so, I don't know,
Hmm.
angry, whatever. It's going to rip open, and the world's
Yep.
not going to be the same.
Hmm.
And I think anytime in these superhero movies when you see these helicopters and these black cars, that's always the villain, right? That's always what we
Yeah.
perceive. I think Marvel knows that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think they're literally tricking us. Wanda, not necessarily. If
The
she's not doing it
villain. Yeah.
intentionally, she's the villain of the show,
But she's
and
not
they are
like
trying
her.
to
Yeah. Exactly. No. Like
they're
she's
trying
not
to
really
come
the
in
villain.
and save her,
Yeah.
basically.
It's like she's like the protagonist and antagonist. She's a protagonist because she
Yes,
wants to live a normal life with Vision, but she's the antagonist because she's capturing these like innocent people, possibly doing something bad, like the multiverse thing. And
exactly.
so yeah, I do agree with that. And something else that could be another huge series that we probably won't see later on is that this show is broadcasting live all over the world, maybe. Because if you actually saw from
Yeah,
the end of the first episode, they zoom out with that Pacific show, like, so it's obviously broadcasting. So
yeah,
maybe that's what's going on. Like the show is broadcasting all over the world, and it's just that. And then what else I was about to say was that the lady that Wanda kicked out, there was actually a little trailer for a promo for it, and you actually see like Wanda with her normal clothes fixing a wall that looks
yep,
broken, and I feel
yep.
like that's what we're gonna see in episode 4, where
I
we're gonna see
agree.
that wall broken. And then a couple of other quick things. I'm sorry if I'm taking so long.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
Is that
This is our podcast, man. No one
yeah.
can tell us what to do.
Exactly, no. And then there was actually a photo that I saw, was let me see if I can find, I think his name was Jimmy Woo, the
Hmm.
agent from Ant-Man, was
Yes,
actually
yes,
walking with that same woman but with agent clothes, so that obviously kind of confirms that
yes.
she's an agent. So that definitely confirms that she was an agent.
I saw that photo as well. Yeah, I know what you're talking
Hmm.
about.
Yep. So it was that photo. Again, it's really nice to see that Jimmy Woo's also involved with this. Very interesting. Like he's involved with Sword somehow. Uh, and I feel like the commercials that we see are just like her memories or something. Cause like you said, the toaster could have been the bomb that killed her parents. The watch, a memory from Hydra when she got her powers and all that.
Yep.
The third one I don't understand yet. I'm pretty sure someone else might figure it out, being like, "Oh, it was this
Yeah.
memory. This happened to her. Blah blah blah." Just something. Uh, but yeah, but again, Vision doesn't really seem to know what's going on. Wanda's trying to keep him in and like try and play this show, like trying to like live normal lives, but at the same time keeping innocent people in, and Source really just trying to like save those people and really save her from, you know, what dangers could lie ahead in the future.
Exploding.
Yeah, exactly. Because it could be a threat where
Yeah.
it could be a multiverse, and that's in the ending where Doctor Strange come in, and then oh my gosh, we have this tease for uh Doctor Strange movie, you know.
Yep.
So that's really my
Definitely.
prediction as to what's going on. I feel Wanda's a protagonist and antagonist in the show, and the black cars we see is obviously people trying to help fix this situation, really, and not really like the bad guys in this.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. Well,
Mhm,
that sounds great. I think
mhm.
we should wrap this episode up,
Oh
guys. So
yeah.
Eric, if you want to take us out.
Yeah, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's been a while, but we're
Yeah.
glad you're here. We'll see you
We'll
guys
be
next
back for
time.
more WandaVision
Yes,
reviews.
sir.
Exactly. Exactly.
80s.
Yeah.
We got 80s next episode, so let's go,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yeah.
80s.
So we're excited about that. What will happen next? We don't
We
know.
don't know.
Exactly.
We don't
All
know.
right. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.